The Errington Thompson Show continues on 880 AM The Revolution.
And we're back. We are back. I'm Errington Thompson, and you listen to the Errington Thompson Show. We still have Aaron, and Aaron's still awake.
I am. I got my Pop-Tarts.
Oh, good. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, buddy.
Now, just to please Alan.
Yeah.
Because Alan calls. It seems to be every week, complaining that we don't do any local stuff. We are going to talk with Pat Smathers, who is running for lieutenant governor here in our fair state of North Carolina. Pat, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. I'm still trying to figure out how it gets up to 70 in the evening, but it's like 30 when you go to work in the morning, so you don't know what to wear or whatever.
Well, let me tell you worse than that. I'm actually on my way down to Trenton and Jones County, so I'm trying to figure out what the weather's going to be like down there in a little while.
That even makes it more complex.
That's right. I mean, I left the cool mountains early this morning, and I'm just outside Greensboro right now, and it's right now I think it's 55 right here.
Just welcome to the mountains, I basically say. Before we really get started, tell us a little bit about, you sent out an email to all of those who have subscribed to your site, which is patsmathers2008.com. You sent out an email about Fred Walters. Can you tell us a little bit about Fred?
Well, it was a sad week for my family this week. Fred Walters is my father-in-law, and he passed away earlier in the week. He's obviously going to be missed by myself and my wife and my family, but he was a great guy. He grew up in Ohio, and as I said in my email, like so many of the generation that's known as the greatest generation, had not traveled a whole lot until he went off to fight the war in World War II and served under General Patton, and then came back and established some restaurants in Ohio, and then moved with his family to Florida. And was successful down there in the restaurant business. And actually, he was living there when I met his daughter, my wife Sherry. And then they retired to West North Carolina several years ago. And he's just been enjoying life the last several years. But unfortunately became ill and passed away earlier in the week. And and as I said in my email, I think our generation can certainly learn a lot from those people. The integrity, the responsibility, just dealing with that adversity. How that generation over the years, if you look at what all they went through, the Depression, World War II, and then the other conflicts our country has been in, and he was just a very strong individual. A very dedicated and committed Christian, was active in his church. So just a lot of good attributes as far as being committed to family and so forth.
He sounds like he was a thoughtful, practical man, which leads me to my next question. Why would anybody want to get involved in politics with the divisive atmosphere that lives in politics these days?
Well, Aaron, I think that's one reason why I want to get involved in it. What thrust me into the lieutenant governor's race is the experience that we had in Canton with the floods in 2004 as a result of Hurricane Francis and Ivan. And it became very apparent to me the importance of community. And as I tell people, I estimate 70 to 80% of all our services and protections we enjoy as citizens comes from local government or state employees working at the local level, but yet it's the least funded, the least resourced, and the least enabled. I mean, that's really who is educating your children, your school board, your school teachers, it's your firemen, your police officers, and local commissioners making decisions about economic development. And so, and I'm afraid that one of the things that we see in Washington is that our government on the federal level has really become more bound by the special interest and not really what I see addressing issues. And I'm terribly concerned about some of the things I see in state government where the impact of special interest and lobbyists, and we're starting to slow down. And so really where you get things done now is really at the local level. So I really want to carry that message on to the state government. Say let's let's enable and empower your local people who are really on the ground doing things, and our small businesses where, that's where 70% of the jobs are created in this state.
And that's my push, is that I think we need to have more people who have integrity in local government, and then local government can work for you and help all of us make a better place.
Well, that's right. Really the role of government is to provide services and protection. And to be a leader of ideals, but it really comes down to who's really the provider of those services. And I think we have, as you said, I think we've taken our eye off the target in some respect. As you said, we sometimes deal with divisive issues when we really need to be talking about how we are taking care of people on a day-to-day basis and making their lives as best we can through government. And government certainly can't solve all issues, but what government can do needs to be geared towards the people.
And one of the things I had to do was look up exactly what a lieutenant governor does, because I have an idea. The lieutenant governor, of course, is the second in command, and if you look at the executive branch, but is also the president of the Senate. He's the chief presiding officer, and basically directs debate over bills on the Senate floor. He's also a member of the Council of State. So the lieutenant governor has a lot of different boards and commissions that the lieutenant governor is responsible for. And I think that is important. What kind of ideas do you have? We've got about 3 minutes in this segment, then we'll take a break.
Okay.
So in 3 minutes, 3 minutes, give us all of your ideas.
Well, there's certainly a lot of ideas I have, and I know I can't address them all in 3 minutes. But again, the first one is that we need to push things down to the local level to enable people to address issues. One of the things in the education system that I often have trouble with. I've been a school board lawyer for 22 years, and I represent Haywood Community College. And one of the things I see in education is we often look for too many quick fixes coming from Raleigh. I mean, we've dealt with things like everybody's looking for the silver bullet, but there really is no silver bullet to education. People say, schools need to be accountable to their communities. Well, I agree with that. They do need. But more importantly, communities need to be accountable to their schools. And so, instead of saying, for example, no child left behind with all the testing problems that causes, people looking for the silver bullets like vouchers, let's look at the real issue of why kids are not performing well in school right now, or they're dropping out. It really goes back to, parental involvement, having parents involved in the children's lives and them involved in their education process. And there's no doubt that poverty is the leading cause for why children drop out of school and do not have the direction of their lives. And those things are addressed with, home stability, both home ownership, which is affordable housing, and the pricing of homes and the availability of homes, jobs for working men and women, and parental involvement. I've often say throughout this, if you talk to really people who really deal with education, they would tell you if you want to solve the problem with education, because in their schools, the problems aren't generated in the schools. The problems come to the schools, and the schools have to deal with them. But it really boils down to, stability, the economy, and parental involvement. I mean, if you take those three things and in a home where there is employment and there's a stable home, and the parents are involved in the children's education, those children are going to do well in school.
Why don't we hold right there? We'll take a break, and we'll talk some more about education. One of my favorite topics, to be honest with you. I love it. We're talking with Pat Smathers. I'm Errington Thompson, and you're listening to the Errington Thompson Show. Stay right there. We'll be right back.